Good afternoon. This meeting will now come to order. Welcome to the January 20th, 2022 meeting of the City of Raleigh Appearance Commission. My name is Corey Bates and I am chair of the commission. I'd like to start by acknowledging that we are conducting this meeting using a remote electronic platform. I would ask for your patience today as we proceed. There may be slight delays as we transition between speakers, participants, and presentations. The commission is charged to provide guidance, advice, and recommendations regarding the visual quality and aesthetic characteristics of the City of Raleigh. The members of the commission represent a varied field of expertise, interest, and the quality of design in Raleigh. Today's meeting will proceed very similar to a regular meeting, a few minor adjustments. If at any time participants have issues with the technology, please send a message to the moderator, Eric Hodge. He's moderating this meeting. Chat function has been disabled for the meeting for all participants and the commission members, except for the ability to message the moderator if you have any technical difficulties. For each administrative alternate case, a city staff member will provide a brief introduction and a presentation. The applicant will then be acknowledged to present their case and have 10 minutes to do so. Speakers for the applicant are asked to provide their name and address for the record. Following the presentation, the commission members will be given an opportunity to speak and ask any questions or speak on that request. When all comments for the applicant, staff, and other participants are complete, the commission chair will bring the item back to the table for deliberation. The commission members will then deliberate on the item and review the findings listed in the applicable sections of the UDO. Following deliberation, I'll ask for a motion, which will take the form of a recommendation to the planning director for action on the request. Motion can then be a recommendation for approval with conditions, or denial. The commission may also vote to defer a case to the next regular meeting in order to receive additional information if needed. The commission will vote on that request. All right, so I believe today we just have one case on the agenda, and that case is AAD 17-21. It's 11555 Common Oaks Drive, and I believe the applicant is Pamela Porter. I will go ahead and turn this over to Keegan, I believe, if you're doing the staff presentation.
That's correct. Give me one moment as I share my screen. Okay. Let me try that again. Apologies. Seems like I might not have been sharing the right one. Okay, can you all see that? Okay, great. I'll go ahead and get started. So this is a administrative alternate for design application specific to section 725C of the UDO. This has to deal with screening of service areas. So this specific project is located at the corner of Capitol Boulevard and Common Oaks Drive. It's zone CX3 PK, Parkway frontage, Urban Watershed Protection Overlay District. The proposal is for a congregate care facility, and the specific reason for this request is due to the service area or trash area, trash collection area on the site that's needing to be, that the code requires to be screened, but also to be located to the side or rear of the proposed building. Due to the nature of the site, this particular building has been determined to have two fronts, both along, or one along each street rather. And so while the trash enclosure does meet the screening requirements, it does not meet the locational requirements. So if you are looking at this image here, you'll see a detail in the upper right, and the actual trash enclosure is located here. Essentially, it will meet all of our requirements again for screening, and those are listed, I believe, in the staff report on page 2. It's just that the enclosure itself is not located to the side or rear. As the applicant has stated in their application, the reason for locating it in this specific location is due to some existing site constraints, particularly steep topography to the side and rear of the building, and also an existing riparian buffer. In addition to the physical man-made screening that will be erected around the enclosure, there will also be tree conservation area preserved along the stretch of Capitol Boulevard, and additional plantings qualifying as a SHOD 1 protective yard towards the corner, shielding the trash enclosure from both Capitol and Common Oaks Drive. Did just want to provide a close-up of the enclosure detail for those curious. So there is a requirement for a gate if it's located separate from the building. There also is a requirement that materials match the proposed structure. So you can see in this instance, solid wood gate, hardy plank, lap siding. The applicant does have some additional information concerning the types of plantings that will be employed here, and they do have a presentation. Did want to touch on the findings related to landscaping and screening admin alternates. The one that it meets the intent of the landscaping and screening regulations, that the approved administrative alternate conforms with the comp plan, and that is considered equal to or better than the standard. And to that first point, the intent of these regulations is to provide meaningful and well-designed screening and buffering. Apologies, that should see B as the second item, and that tree and shrub planting should not interfere with safe vehicular and pedestrian circulation on the site. So that concludes my presentation. I'm happy to try to answer any questions. If not, I can proceed with the applicant's presentation.
Thank you, Keegan. Any questions for staff from the commission? All right. Let's go ahead and turn it over to the applicant.
Good afternoon, Appearance Commission. Pam Porter with TMTLA Associates, 5011 South Park Drive in Durham. I apologize for sounding the way I do. I'm actually getting over COVID, so hopefully you all can understand me. It's been an interesting week. Keegan, are you going to control the screen, or is there a way for me to switch between the slides?
Yeah, I will control the screen. If you just let me know when to proceed to the next slide, I can click through.
Okay, perfect. I just wanted to make sure I had to let you know. Okay, so yeah, so again, this is an administrative alternate request for the dumpster location, and thank you, Keegan, for your presentation. I've just got a couple additional things to add. So next slide, please. So this is the aerial photo that you just saw that Keegan shared in his presentation. The address is 11555 Common Oaks Drive at the corner of Common Oaks Drive and Capitol Boulevard. The site is just under 8.5 acres. It's zone CX3PK. It's currently vacant. And again, as Keegan mentioned, we are proposing a congregate care facility. Next slide. And this is the plan that Keegan showed, less the dumpster enclosure detail. This shows an overall of our site. And as you can see, where the dumpster would normally be located on the opposite side of the building, there is very steep topography, which would make putting the dumpster on that side away from the streets really challenging. And I've got an enlargement of that later in the presentation. So next slide, please. So, okay, it's the next slide. I'm sorry. I thought this was later. So as you can see, the topography, oh, nope, go back. I'm sorry. As you can see, the topography on the side of the site where we would normally locate the dumpster is really steep. And we already have several retaining walls on our site to accommodate the use. The site is 8.4 acres, but about half of that is actually usable with the way the site is laid out with the steep topography and the stream buffers that line the west and the north sides of the site. So we're trying to minimize our impacts to the steep slopes as much as possible. If we were to put the dumpster in the area that is clouded in red, then we would have at least a 10-foot tall retaining wall, which at that point, we're disturbing a lot of steep topography. Again, we're trying not to do that if we don't have to. Next slide. And this is the dumpster enclosure detail again. I just I added the 8-foot number because in the detail it was kind of small. So the dumpster enclosure will be 8 feet tall. Again, it will match the principal structure of the building. And we also have screening shrubs around the dumpster enclosure as shown. They're Emily Brunner hollies. They are slated to be installed at 36 inches tall, but the mature height is going to be 16 to 18 feet tall. So they are going to get significantly taller and will help to screen the dumpster in addition to the constructed enclosure. Next slide. And in addition to the dumpster enclosure and the screening shrubs, we also have other additional items screening the dumpsters from the street. So we are screening the dumpster with tree conservation from Capitol Boulevard. Right now we're showing a 32-foot wide area of tree conservation. Marion Metcalf made a comment that that may need to be 50 feet wide, so we may even have more area to help screen the dumpster. And then from Common Oaks Drive, we've got a shod 1 yard that is planted with canopy trees, evergreen trees, understory trees, and shrubs. So it's a mix of different types of vegetation that will provide a screening from ground to at least 30 feet tall, if not taller, when all the plants are fully grown. Next slide. And this is a graphic to show what the trees in the tree conservation area look like now. As you can see, it's pretty dense, and it's everything behind the power lines. So the power lines are not part of the TCA, they're not part of our project. So all the trees behind the power lines will remain. And again, it's pretty thick. You can't see through them. You know, Capitol Boulevard is not going to be visible to our site and vice versa. You won't be able to see the dumpster enclosure or the dumpsters from Capitol Boulevard with these existing trees. Next slide. And this was in our request letter for the administrative alternate, just noting that we are meeting the intent of the ordinance by concealing the trash and recycling containers with a number of items, including a constructed enclosure, those Emily Brunner hollies around the enclosure, and then the tree conservation and the shod 1 plantings. So at the end of the day, there's going to be a lot of things installed and constructed and existing that's going to make it pretty much impossible to see the site, let alone the dumpster enclosure from either one of the streets. We're trying to, again, minimize impacts to steep slopes because we understand that, you know, obviously we don't want to impact steep slopes and create unnecessary drainage issues if we don't have to. That pretty much concludes our presentation for tonight. Marcos is also on the call. If you had any questions for him, he's here, representative of the owner, who is Carolina Assisted Living. And thank you for your consideration of our request, and I'm happy to answer any questions that you might have.
Thank you, Pam, for the presentation. Any questions from the commission this time?
I just have one quick question. Looking at the plan, it looks like there's quite a bit of grade between the waste enclosure and Capitol Boulevard. Are those all existing grades? They look like they're shown as existing grades, but
yeah, so everything on that map is an existing contour. I'm not showing any proposed contours.
Okay, but I assume those contours aren't going to really, the grade difference of what looks to be like 10 feet or more between the garbage enclosure and Capitol Boulevard is not really going to change substantially. Is that correct?
Correct. So in the area behind the dumpster where it looks really steep now, that's not being impacted, and that will likely become tree conservation area when we resubmit our plans for review.
So if you drew a section of this, sorry.
I was just asking if Keegan could put that back up so I can kind of see the grades, because I had the same question about the relative height of the dumpster versus the Capitol Boulevard and that intersection there.
Yeah, I'm just imagining this in section and realize, you know, there's like no way you're ever going to see this garbage enclosure from any of the roads, I don't think.
Correct.
So can you,
Yeah, so where the There we go. Thank you. So yeah, so there's some steep grades kind of just behind the dumpster. We don't anticipate there being a retaining wall here. If there happens to require one for whatever reason, if we have to make any adjustments to this area, it's going to be a lot smaller of a retaining wall than if we had put the dumpster on the opposite side of the site. So we're still trying to keep everything where it needs to be, just knowing we have some restraints with the developable area of our site anyways. But yeah, so those steep slopes should not be touched. We're not anticipating doing anything. The tree fence is where that kind of thick line where the mouse is, it goes kind of northwest adjacent. So anything behind that is not anticipated to be disturbed. But yeah, either way,
So,
we don't think the dumpster would be visible even if we didn't have the shod one and the we weren't going to disturb trees along Capitol Boulevard anyhow, but we have to have it be tree conservation because of the rules. But yeah, I mean it's going to be nearly impossible to be seen from either one of those streets.
yeah, so just to expand on that, so the image that you showed of the tree conservation area, the picture from the road, showed a pretty steep berm. So I guess that's the berm that's going up to that elevation of 310, 315 or so, and then it goes back down on the other side of the berm, and then
Yeah,
the dumpsters are somewhere around the 300-foot level, similar
Yeah.
to the building. Is that true?
yeah, yeah.
Could you show us the power lines, where they're located on that site plan? Kind of a better idea of the angle of view is.
So that is a street view from kind of where the right of way is at the corner of Common Oaks and Capitol Boulevard. So Keegan, if you're driving, put the mouse down where that 90-degree corner is by the shading. Kind of, yeah, right, essentially right there. Yeah. And the power lines are right under the cursor.
And
They
they
run-
run
they-
parallel to Capitol Boulevard?
Yeah, they basically run along our property line / right of way line for Capitol Boulevard. Yep.
Okay.
I don't think this is going to affect anything, but I'm just curious if this site plan was done without a grading plan, or like why there's no proposed contours on this.
We do have a grading plan. Right now there's no retaining wall over there, and we've had to adjust the dumpster some because there's going to be a private hauler that's going to come in and collect the garbage. So we're still fine tuning the size of the dumpster and how far it extends towards the streets. That was just the last iteration that we did. It's probably going to actually tuck in closer to the building, because I think we're going to go with a different hauler that won't need quite so much pavement. So I know that doesn't really answer your question, but when I was preparing the presentation, I didn't think that because the grading is where it's going to sit, it's not going to be that impactful because we're not getting into those steep slopes. I didn't think that it would be really relevant to our case.
Right on.
Any other questions from the commission at this time? And Keegan, I don't have anybody written on that signed up to speak. Do you have anybody signed up?
No, I don't believe we were contacted by anyone to speak in support or opposition.
Okay, great. So, last call for commission for questions for the applicant or for staff.
I just wanted to note that if the commission so desires, I do have the full plan set available and could probably locate the grading plan if that's of interest, or any other sheet.
Yeah, I think that the topo on there was pretty good. I mean, it looked like it was what, 302, 303, somewhere in there for the bottom of the dumpster, and then it's 10 plus feet above that berm. So, not sure you would ever see it
Yeah, I can't imagine what they would do to that site plan to make it not completely hidden. So,
Yeah.
thank you.
Well, and they can't touch that tree conservation area, so.
Right.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna go ahead and close this and open it for commission deliberations and findings. I mean, I don't see any issues. I lean, I guess, on you, Adam, a little bit, and as far as the landscape, the plantings, and those kind of things, make sure they are what we want there. But
Yeah, I mean, that shot 1 yard. Yeah, I don't see any problem with this. It's kind of really not much to say. You're never going to see this thing, and it's really not. It is on the side of the building. I don't know why it's considered a front, but if you consider the topography and the planting and the tree conservation, it really is a dumpster on the side of a building that's screened properly. So I don't see any reason why we wouldn't leave this as is.
thanks for that. I totally agree. Any other?
Yeah, and I think, I mean, I would prefer it on this side rather than on the side of the stream buffer.
Absolutely. Okay, well, maybe let's go ahead and look at the findings. So we had three findings. The approved administrative alternate meets the intent of landscape and screening regulations. The approved administrative alternate is considered equal to or better than the standard. I believe it is. And then B, the approved administrative alternate conforms with the comp plan and adopted city plans. So we just need to substantiate that with some policies.
LU 5.6 buffering requirements.
UD 3.8 screening of sightly uses. Plenty of screening.
Yeah, I would argue those EP 2.2 and 2.4 for environmentally sensitive development too. Keeping it away from the stream buffer.
We have a motion.
You're making a motion to approve as shown.
Okay, so we have a motion from Adam. Seconds.
I'll second. Chris.
Second from Chris. And all in favor, raise your hand. I can see everybody. Except Jake.
Jake.
Jake, what do you say? I'll say all in favor, yes.
Oh, sorry, yes.
There you go.
Thanks.
We got a plus from Jake. Any opposed? None, so that's unanimous. So we appreciate you coming and presenting in front of the council. It's approval.
Thanks. I appreciate your time. Have a good rest of your day. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, so that was our one item today. So that now ends our business portion of the meeting, and we will continue with working group reports. So I'll just start out. I think one is the Sir Walter Raleigh Awards. It's been a little while, so this Planning and Development Department has designated Brittany Waddell as kind of our person to kind of help us plan the Sir Walter Raleigh Awards. She's taken that as one of her projects. So I've been in contact with her a little bit. She's talking to staff, trying to figure out, with all the COVID guidelines and stuff, in our previous direction of wanting to do it in person. Trying to start to look at some dates, but they're out into like April, May. So want to just, really don't know much more about it at this time. She's still kind of looking in and trying to talk to staff about when we can kind of open things up. And if anybody has any thoughts or, really wants to try to do something like we did last time, I think what we had discussed before was that we kind of wanted to have it in person if all possible. If there's any other thoughts, I'm kind of open hearing that.
April and May seems kind of like mid 2022.
I know.
Not that I, blame anyone for that, but just recognizing that.
Well, I'm kind of, I appreciate that, Will. And I think Yeah, what kind of my last correspondence with her today was, at some point, where do you just say, hey, let's just do, let's just wait and just do one massive party and do a 2 year, have it all together. And that's kind of what she and staff have been saying they don't want, but, at some point, kind of need to look at that as well. So, I think there'll be more to report on that here before too long, but I think we're just kind of waiting to kind of see what happens with these COVID numbers and stuff. They're going in the wrong direction the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, I don't see any reason in rushing it in. I don't think we know enough with COVID now to know if we could do it in person. It's so late that like doing it virtually just seems really sad. I kind of love the idea of making it bigger when we know we can have it in person. And yeah, that's tough that it's so far away. But yeah, I mean, it would also be weird to have one and then have another one, 5 months or 4 months. But I don't know.
Part of me would kind of love to just get them their award, though, so they have it and they can hang it on their wall.
Yeah.
You don't want to get something for, 2021 and get it in 2023 or something and hang it on. So
do we not need to just post the winners in some form or fashion here?
Maybe that's something we can go ahead and talk to her about is, let's go ahead and let's finish up. I don't know that we ever finished up the certificate design. So maybe we just need to go ahead and talk to her about, let's get that certificate design finished up. Let's get the awards on there and present them to them, at least hand them to them or mail them to them or something. And then we can recognize them later in another.
That seems good.
I'll talk to Brittany about that, and maybe Keegan, if you can help me out with that as well, that'd be great. Any other thoughts with Sir Walter Raleigh?
What do you guys think about, I don't know, I mean, I agree with you, Corey, of like getting them the awards, but I feel like there's got to be some sort of like recognition, even if it's not like a party or anything. I mean, what do you guys think about potentially doing like a marketing visibility effort of like a map with each of the winners for people to be able to go see them themselves, like almost like the AIA does for the residential tour. Or I don't know if we feel like that's copying them too much, but for me, like I want people to see what's winning. I mean, if they don't know where it is and they don't see the types of projects that are winning, I just think that's a really important part for the public to be able to see them.
Yeah. I wonder if we could do a social media takeover of some sort and have, one each day that, highlights one of the winners along with that kind of map. And I don't know if a video would be necessary, but some images or something.
What about if maybe in lieu of having this big party at one single place, we just did smaller individual award presentations at that location. Smaller group, the appearance commission meets with the developer, the client, the architect, whoever it is, at that location, and you do a presentation and social media buzz.
Good idea.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea. I think it might take more planning than then maybe this group wants to get involved with. I don't know.
Yeah, and maybe I don't know that we would anticipate and asking all the members of the appearance commission to be there, but if we divvy that up a little bit and there's 2 or 3 of us there as representatives, to present it.
Yeah, I mean, or even if I like that idea, even if I don't know if this has been done before, but like, just taken them out for lunch or something, 2 or 3 of the appearance commission people, each award winner, and presenting them their award. I mean, it also doesn't feel great just to like get the certificate in the mail.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it needs to be a physical, handing of the
Yeah.
of the award.
Agreed. Yeah, it would be nice to have that personal touch. I really like your idea, Marcus, but it does, when I think about it, that's a lot of awards to organize events around. I wonder how we could do it personally and still have that same kind of effect, because I really like that.
Do we know how many awards there are?
12? 10 or 12, Corey, do you remember?
Right. Yeah.
Some of them don't have physical locations anymore, is that right? Trying to think of the.
I mean, even if we met, if one of them was, say, in a plaza or something, we met out there and did a little PR thing, and they put it on RTN. We just present it to them out there individually, and it was on RTN. I like that for a day or something. Then we do the next one or something. We do one at a time or something.
Yeah, a couple a week.
Yeah.
2 or 3 a week over a month period.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That'd
Just
be a great
pre-record
idea.
them.
And then we can do something on social media that tells them, hey, tune into RTN, or here's a website where or something. So I think all these are great ideas. Let me, we need to see what staff's level is of how much they can actually handle right now. I think they're a little overwhelmed already. So let me see what that is, and let me talk to them about some of these ideas. And
To me, I think that probably takes some stress off of them, because it's not a big event. It's more or less coordinating a meeting, and I'm not that probably is oversimplifying it, a little bit, but it's not this big grand event.
right,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
great.
Just a staff suggestion, if you're gonna meet somewhere like that, you could potentially meet at the sites that are receiving the award.
Yeah,
If you're gonna bounce around.
I think that would be great, because I think if we could get, I don't know what our chances would be of getting like RTN or somebody to do just a little video clip of us presenting the award at the site with the winners. I'd be willing to do that and go around to different sites or something. We could, like I said, if we could do post one a month or a couple month or one for a week, whatever, RTN and social media, I think that'd be great. That'd be a good thing. Okay.
I just had one other thought too. I don't know to what level, a site visit is permissible with these awards, but if it ends up being more virtual than in person, at least for the general public, you could do potentially, maybe not for all, but for some of the winners, some type of video content of the indoor, inside or outside of each building, and this could be posted or compiled into a video for the website or something to that effect, just to kind of memorialize it a little bit more.
Yep. Yep. Taking notes. Great. Other business. I mentioned a retreat before. I still don't have any definites about when or where or what. I just kind of wanted to throw it out there and see if there were some dates. Talk to staff and see if there's some dates maybe in February that we can have a little staff retreat. Be a Friday afternoon. We can spend 1 to 4 or 1 to 5 or something, kind of going through what we've done the last year, what we've liked, what we could change, do a little differently. Think what we want to be able to tackle, what we think we can tackle. I think that'll also help with some of our, we need to go in front of council every year, let them know what we've done, what we haven't done, what we intend to do. So that'll kind of help put that list together as well. There's also some other things. Candace and I spoke a little bit about it, but we could maybe get a guest speaker in to come talk to us about something. It could be about a lot of different things. One idea I had was, maybe just we get a guest speaker to kind of come and just give us a little seminar on public speaking or just engagement or something to help some of us, better understand what we're doing and how to reflect our ideas. That's just one idea. I mean, we could have a guest speaker come to do anything. I think our attorney I think it'd be good to get her to come as well and kind of give us an update on what we have, the changes that we've seen in the past. I think there are some more changes coming or have recently been adopted that we should be aware of as a commission. So I think just giving her a little bit of time to speak. So I think there's a lot of things that we could cover and we could fill up. We always tend to fill up those 4 hours quickly, but I think it'd be a good time for a good conversation if we do it in person or virtually. So we'll talk to staff some more and see if we can kind of throw some dates out there to our commission and maybe do a little doodle poll. Maybe thinking towards the end of February, mid to end of February, something like that would be good.
Might be nice to invite our council rep or the council liaison and get kind of a window into what they're thinking about these days.
That'd be good. And, Candace and I have met sport once, and we were due to meet her tomorrow actually for our second one. She wants to meet every 2 months just to kind of check in, see if she can help us with anything. We asked today if we could hold that off a little bit so we could get our new elected members in place and then kind of do it a little bit more as a team. And so we're going to probably hold that off for a month or so. But that would be a good idea to get her involved in that meeting. So that was
sometimes the city feels like a big foggy cloud that I don't really understand what's happening. And so if there's anything that we could do to kind of keep on the pulse of what's changing in the city so that we can, resonate with it and, fill in where there's need, know that there's need and, know where there's not need. Any kind of clarity about what's going on with the city and how we can plug into it in an effective way seems like would be great for me.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think some of these text changes and stuff, it's hard to keep up with all of it and to understand what the gist is when you just read it on a piece of paper. And so I think some of that would be great. And then really my next topic was the legacy project, which I think we can also talk about at our retreat, and what we want to leave as our commission, how we want to put our money where our mouth is. We have a little bit of funding every year, and the last couple of years we've put that towards a legacy project. I think continuing that would be a good idea. We started talking with David Moore last year with the Downtown Raleigh Alliance, the Black Main Street Initiative. I think we had a pretty good consensus that we wanted to kind of move forward with doing something, but we needed to know a little more information. So I think it's time to get David Moore or somebody like that back. I think that was it was a great project. We do need to use our funding by a certain time. I think it's June or something. So now's the time to really start talking about that because it takes a while to get all that working. So we'll go ahead and plan to get David Moore, somebody like that, in front of us before long, and maybe that we can talk about that at our retreat as well. And Will, you may know more about that than I do, that whole legacy thing. I don't know if you have anything to add to that.
I do, but I play a weird role where at arm's length. So I'd love to talk more about it at a retreat sometime. And to your point, I do think now's the time to start thinking about, if we wanted to put out a call or something like that for proposals for this year. I think there would be a number of city departments, especially like Raleigh Arts, that could be really helpful to help us extend the reach there, and get some interesting ideas that, may fit better in with the mission of the Appearance Commission.
Great. Hey. Okay, so really the only other thing I have, so a couple things, minutes. I didn't see any. I don't know that we have anything to review and approve for this meeting. Keegan, let me know if
Yeah, that's correct. We'll have them prepared for the meeting on the 3rd
okay.
from the last meeting.
So the last thing is really what I've been hinting at for a while now, and so elections. Really love to kind of turn this over to some new members and help out how I can, but I think this is a great opportunity to kind of step up. And so we had some nominations, and I think we're open to more if there's people that want to speak up and throw some names out there. So far, we had Adam Walters. We've had nominations for Adam Walters, chair, vice chair, Will Gaskins for chair, Chris Roberts for chair, vice chair. We had Martha Everly, who I spoke with, and she is not able to do that at this point. And Jake as well, who I'm not, actually you're here, but I haven't had a chance to talk to you, Jake. So there's some names that have been thrown out. Are there any others that anybody wants to throw out?
Corey, I thought I put your name back in the hat.
Yeah. Hey, Corey, how many of these nominations were you?
So I'm gonna go ahead and take my name back out. Thanks for that. I appreciate that though. But I did speak with. I've spoken with Chris, who has said that he's happy to take on the chair role. I've spoken with Adam, who said he would be happy to take on a vice chair role. I haven't really gotten to speak with you, Will, much. And if you feel like you're in or out.
No, I'm appreciative, but I'm happy to take my name out of the running there.
Okay. Jake.
I'll be in the same boat, so happy to support the team how I can. But
I think that support is next time.
Yeah.
All right.
You can start on the T-shirt campaign for Adam Walters for chair 2023.
And yeah, and so any others that anybody have any thoughts? There's no thoughts, then I'm going to go ahead and recommend my vote. I would like to ask Chris Roberts to be chair, and I would like to make that a motion in front of the commission.
I'll second that.
Second. Any opposed? Any all in favor?
Do I vote?
Vote if you like. Any opposed? Screen sudden. All right,
So probably not asking nearly as many questions as I should have beforehand, but I guess the next question is, when does this take effect, Corey?
right now.
It's too late.
We can talk about that in a minute. So vice chair, I'm throwing Adam's name into the hat, as he has been the one that said he would gratefully and honorably take on the charge of being vice chair. So I'm going to make that motion. Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
Second with Chris. Any discussion? All right, all in favor? Opposed? All right, unanimous. So we have a new vice chair and vice chair. And
Corey, I bet that feels good.
it feels very good. And so I'm going to let you guys close out the meeting. No, I'm happy to. I'm happy to make this as I'm happy to give as much advice as you want, but I really do want to turn it over to you guys and let you guys do what you think needs to be done best for the commission. I know you'll do a great job, but I'm here to help however I can. So.
Well, Corey, thank you so much for all of your extra time being chair. I know you probably didn't think you were going to be chair for as long as you were, but really appreciate all the effort you put into it.
Yeah, I'll echo those comments, and great job on being the chair for as long as you were. And appreciate the offer to help out for, as much as you can moving forward. And I am sure we will take you up on that offer. But also, anybody feel free to reach out to Adam or I moving forward for any suggestions that you've got, ideas that you've got on what we can do different or better. So appreciate you putting your trust in us. And hopefully we can carry the torch as well as Corey did. And Candace. And thank you, Candace, for your service as well.
Good team. It's a good team. Good team effort. All right. Well, I don't have any other business unless you all do. Any events or anything coming up anybody wants to throw out there before we close out?
What are events?
Yeah, right.
I don't remember doing those anymore.
Snow day tomorrow. Yeah. Everybody send in your pictures of your snow day.
Are we on track for quasi-judicial in 2 weeks?
Yeah, so Keegan, can you tell us what we have on the agenda in a couple weeks? Do we have anything lined up?
Yeah, we do. We will have a meeting on the 3rd. Actually, the agenda should be posted by tomorrow sometime on Board Docs. I think we have about 6 or 7 items. We're also anticipating that'll just be quasi-judicial or design alternates for the meeting in a month. The second meeting in February, we do have that one case that was continued from early January, the Salisbury Square building massing case. So those are kind of what are on the radar at the moment.
Yeah, Keegan, are you managing all the incoming plans and applications and all that? Who's receiving all that these days?
Yeah, it's Justin Remetta and me, but I'm sort of the principal liaison in terms of drafting the reports and making sure everything's complete.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'll just suggest that Keegan, maybe you can throw out some times. Adam and Chris are up to it. Maybe Chris and Adam and I can just have a little download. Candace, I think that'd be great if we get all of us in there and just have a little download.
Yeah, that would be great.
Okay.
Maybe the first week of February.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can send an email to you all and see what times might work.
Okay.
All right, y'all. I'll let Chris and Adam say the final words, and I'm gonna shut up and be done.
Well, I'll just say good to see everybody. Good meeting tonight. I'm looking forward to what the next year holds for us, and let's have a good time. Adam?
Yeah, ditto. I'm excited. Looking forward to moving through 2022 with everybody and taking on these new roles and really being able to wrap our arms around all this new stuff that we're doing and make sense of it all. And like I said, really kind of be able to plug ourselves into what's happening in the city in a better way. So really looking forward to working with y'all this year.
Hopefully we'll be able to bring back in-person meetings by the end of the year. Very good. Corey, do you have a gavel you're going to pass down?
I do not. I don't know where it went. But, need to find it.
All right, good deal. Anything before we break for the night?
Great seeing you all.
Yeah,
Awesome. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Meeting adjourned.